Hey guys, and welcome back to my channel. Today we are going to be talking about 4 new eyeshadow palettes, and these are all from indie brands because it seems like the mainstream brands just are not doing eyeshadow palettes like they used to anymore, which I totally get. I feel like right now clean girl makeup is still trending. A lot of just like easy one and done shadow looks are kind of what is still popular right now, but I still love my 2016 makeup. I love a full glam moment, and I like to play with color, have lots of sparkle. So that's why I've been kind of reaching for more indie brands and testing more out. So I have 4 palettes we're going to be talking about today. I'm going to kind of give you my thoughts on them as I've used them in the past month, and I'll show you guys a little look as well that I did with each palette so you can get some ideas too. I know a lot of you guys were asking for some of these looks, so let's go ahead and get started. Let's start out with what I have on my eyes right now, and that is the Glamlite and Betty Boop palette. I will tell you, Glamlite is becoming one of my favorite brands when it comes to eyeshadow. I really can't resist a lot of their new palettes on the market, and this is one I originally wasn't going to pick up, but I did get suckered in. This one was released kind of around Valentine's Day time. It is a very red and pink themed palette in collaboration with Betty Boop. It has the really cool, what do they call this, ventricular motion packaging that kind of moves. And then here is the colors inside. So originally I'm like, you know, I just don't wear a lot of reds. I don't know how much use I'll get out of this, but surprisingly enough, I've actually been really enjoying this palette. I feel like there's a lot of fun pink looks you can do, a little purple you can do as well. There's a nice pearl shade, a nice black for the outer corner. I think the one thing it's missing for me is like a dark brown, and then it would have been perfect just so it doesn't lean too red for most of the looks, but I did something a little soft today using some of the lighter mattes in the palette and doing a fun kind of pinky shimmer on the lid, and I really like how this came out just for something easy every day. It's not too much, but I also did a really fun smoky eye with this, which I do have a video on, a short video. I would say you do have to like reds and pinks to enjoy this palette, but I'm just really surprised by how much I actually am getting some really cute looks out of this one. As I was saying earlier, Glamlite's formula is becoming one of my favorites. They have some of the best mattes, I feel like, of all brands that I've tried. They have the formula that I really like where you get really good pigment right off the bat, but it's not going to be super messy and hard to blend. I feel like their mattes blend really easily, and when it comes to their shimmers, you're getting that ultra glitter sparkle. So you do have to like a little bit of glitter with these, but they are so iridescent and it's so pretty on the eyes. They feel like very expensive to me, and they're actually not badly priced at all. Glamlite is, I think, one of the most affordable mid-range brands out there because, first of all, they have a lot of sales. Second of all, they have amazing affiliate codes. Like mine alone, you get 15% off. And this palette itself is only $32. So you're getting a lot for your money here, while with sometimes other indie brands, they might charge $50, $60, $70, $80 for some of their eyeshadow palettes. Even high-end brands like, let's say, Urban Decay, Too Faced, Pat McGrath, this honestly sometimes outperforms them, and I really enjoy Glamlite's formula. So if you haven't tried their stuff yet, I highly recommend it, and I've been really enjoying this palette so far. I really have liked the looks I've done with it, and I think it's amazing quality. If you were thinking about picking it up, I would definitely recommend. Now, they did just launch their Kiss collection too, which I believe they're actually sending my way. So I wasn't gonna buy it just because it does look a little bit repetitive with some of their past palettes. So when I get it, I'll definitely do some comparisons. But yeah, I will have a video on that if you guys are curious, probably in the next few days. We'll see. I'm curious to try that one out and see how I like it. But yeah, I've purchased so many Glamlite palettes the past year, and I've just been really impressed with them. Sometimes if you really really are on a budget, you can find some of their older palettes at TJ Maxx as well for a discount. Next palette I wanted to mention, this is the latest one from Nomad. So I did not do a video on this one yet, so I wanted to include it in here. Now, I know it's past St. Patrick's Day now, and this is kind of an Ireland themed palette, but I definitely think you can wear this palette all year long. This is their Ireland Wild Atlantic Way, and it has this like green felt packaging, and then the colors inside are so stunning. So you have a lot of greens going on. They do put some little designs on these shadows too, like there's a castle, they have a little 3-leaf clover and so on. But Nomad, if you guys are new to them, they always do their palettes based upon destinations and traveling, which I think is really fun. So they definitely have a theme going on. And I've been really impressed with their quality as of lately. So with this, I did a really beautiful green eye look, which I will insert in for you guys too, if you're kind of wondering how I got it. I did get quite a few compliments from you guys too. I love greens, I do. So this palette was really enjoyable for me, and the formula was really good here. I know some Nomad palettes can be hit or miss with formula, but the last couple have been really great. This quality feels like my Ghost Town USA palette from them, which is one of my favorites. It has the really nice pigmented, easy to blend mattes and really stunning shimmers. Now, what I like about Nomad's shimmers is they're not quite as glittery as, let's say, the Glamlight ones. Those have a lot of glitter to them. These have more of a true metallic finish, and they're still very soft to the touch. So it just kind of depends on preference. If you don't like as much glitter, you might be a fan of Nomad's formula. But yeah, some of the older Nomad palettes I feel like haven't been as good, but now I feel like they have their formula really nailed down. Now, I will say this is a bit of a repetitive palette. You really have to like greens to enjoy this one. So if you truly do not wear a lot of green and you're wanting something a bit more neutral, you may want to pass on this because it's probably not going to be up your alley. But I wear greens like all the time. I know this did come around St. Patrick's Day, but I think you could definitely wear it year round. And I really loved some of the looks I got from this one. I think it is stunning. You could definitely play up a little bit more with the gold, but I think it would have been nice. I feel like I say this every time, just because I'm a neutral girl at heart, it would have been nice to have a dark brown in here, so that the looks didn't come out all so green. The only brown is this mid-tone one, and then we have a couple like tan-ish colors, this little blue color right here. But yeah, you're gonna get very green looks out of this palette, so it better be one of your favorite colors if you are getting this one. But all in all, the quality is great. This one retails for $49, so it's a little bit more up there than, let's say, the Glamlight palettes. All right, let's talk about some pastels. I have the Glaminatrix Pretty in Pastels palette here. Now, I will be honest, I'm not a big pastel girl. It's not something I usually go for because I like to build up pigmentation and I like a little bit more neutrals in my color schemes. But I will say this one's a little bit more of a unique pastel palette because it's not just pastels. This actually has a nice row on the bottom of some deeper shades. And I know some of the problems with pastel palettes in the past has been that they really only mostly work for, let's say, fair, light, medium at most skin tones. On like a medium tan or deep skin tone, it looks very washed out. So I personally love that they added this row. Does it look a little off with the colors? Yes, but I think it's nice, and I think it's definitely needed in here just so you can build up depth and create some gorgeous colorful looks. Now, I really do like Glaminatrix eyeshadow formula. They have some really nice neutral leaning palettes that have been top favorites for me. This one in particular, probably not in my top list. I did recently do a palette ranking, including some of these palettes too, if you guys want to see where they stand for as far as a lot of new palettes I've tried this year. I think there was a total of like 20 or so, maybe less, but I'll link that down below if you just kind of want to see where they stand. But yeah, it's not my favorite one from Glaminatrix, but I did create a really pretty look with this one. And also something I like about this palette is that they made it easy for you to come up with monochromatic looks, because you have like a pink purple row, a yellow orange row, your green row, and your blue row. So it's pretty easy. You don't have to mix and match if you don't want to. If you just want to do something monochromatic. As far as formulas go, the mattes are really soft, easy to blend. Maybe could be a little bit more pigmented, but I understand it's pastels. They're not going to be crazy, but the darker mattes are great. The shimmers are definitely more of your metallic formula. They're not super duper glittery again. Maybe even less glittery, more metallic than Nomad. So it just kind of depends again on your preference, but if you guys like these kind of pastel tones, this one might be one to check out. But I mean, there's a lot of pastel palettes on the market, and for me, I'm kind of the one that's like, well, I feel like I really only need one pastel palette and I'm good to go. And this might be one you want to pick up if you're medium to deeper skin tones and you wanted to play with some more pastels. So that is the Glaminatrix Pretty in Pastels. This one is $44 and you do get quite a bit of shades in here, so not badly priced. Okay, lastly, I wanted to talk about this palette from Enle Rain. This is a brand I've really been getting into lately because they create some of the most beautiful color stories. This right here is their Groovy Garden palette. As soon as I saw this, I knew it had to be mine. It's really beautiful. Here is a look at the shades inside. Like, how stunning is that? You have 2 rows of mattes and a row of shimmers. Now, Enle Rain, it's definitely on the higher price side when it comes to indie brands, but you do get a lot of shadows and you get more multi-chrome shifty shades. They're kind of all about the multi-chromes. But for me, sometimes I just want 1 or 2 multi-chromes in a palette. I don't really like all my shimmers being that way, which these aren't all that way. There's just a few in here which I think I like. But with Enle Rain, a lot of their multi-chromes tend to lean green. So I feel like I'll like choose this shimmer that looks pink in the pan, and then it turns my whole eye look green, and that can kind of be a little annoying to me. So I wish they had just a little bit more variety with the multi-chromes they use, but it does fit well with this color scheme. You guys, this was one of my most complimented looks. I've been wearing it in a couple of videos. There's just something about Enle Rain shimmers with their shifts. They just do look very unique on the eyes. So even though I may be kind of annoyed with that green shift, to everyone else, I feel like it looks like really cool, and it looks like you tried really hard with your makeup. The mattes in here are really nice. It has a nice kind of lighter row, and then you have a few more deeper shades too towards the bottom. So I really like their matte formula, and all around, Enle Rain does have a nice formula in general. I do find their shadows to be really, really glittery though. Like, you will get a little glitter fallout on the face. That does happen with Glamlight too, but these might be a little more glittery than Glamlight ones, but it does make for a gorgeous sparkle, and people will ask you like, what are you wearing? Because your eyes will look so beautiful with this palette, no joke. So overall, this is really pretty. It might be my favorite Enle Rain palette yet. I've tried their Cold Moon one, which I thought was going to be my favorite, but it does run a little bit light. And then I've also tried their Lands of Enchantment, which is a really pretty kind of winter color scheme, but this one definitely seems to be very up my alley. Again, I love the green tones in here, but sometimes those shifts can just be a little bit much, and the price point is very high with this. Plus with shipping, you end up spending quite a bit on their palettes. So I kind of wish they could make something a little smaller for us that doesn't cost quite as much, but I understand when working with some of these shifty shades, the price does go up, especially because they use a lot of shades in their palettes. So yeah, that's just kind of my general thoughts on this one. I've really been enjoying it so far. Let's be honest, I've enjoyed all of these palettes so far. I think there's very nitpicky things that maybe I don't like about certain things, which I kind of went over in this video just based on my personal preferences, but overall, indie brands are killing it with eyeshadows. If you're kind of just wanting to explore, wanting to try a new palette, check out some of these brands. Check out my discount codes in the description box, because that'll also give you an idea of a ton of different indie brands that I use. I feel like a lot of mainstream brands kind of tend to disappoint me with quality for the price point, and with these brands I feel like I know that I'm always getting something that's going to be good quality. Of course there can be hits and misses here and there, but if you're kind of looking to get a new palette and you're maybe thinking of the Sephora sale coming up and there just hasn't been any new launches for eyeshadow besides like the Makeup by Mario neutral all matte palette. Maybe save your money for some of these brands to try something out that you like. I have tons of palette rankings with these as well. If you want to check it out, you can check out last year's palette ranking and then my most recent one as well. But yeah, I just thought this would be kind of a fun video to do because sometimes I feel like people get bored of just seeing one palette featured and like a couple looks with it. Let me know if this is something that you would like to see more often, or if you do prefer the single brand palette reviews. These just take a little bit more time, and I'm not obviously uploading them the day that they launch. These have been out for a few weeks now, but hopefully I gave you guys some inspo if you've been looking for some looks with these, or you've just been kind of wanting to see the performance. Hopefully this was helpful, but I'm gonna let you guys go. Thanks so much for watching, and I'll see you in my next video. Bye guys.